Okay.
I don't
Really
care
be
who
my
own your
auntie, and
business
if the
either.
service suck, I'm not coming back.
Okay. So the service model, like what your business looks like, how it feels when I come in. Is the energy right? Is it clean? Do you open on time?
Right, and
Will
I
you stay
think
open
that,
a few
That
minutes
is one of
later?
look.
and I think
That
that
is
people
one
got
thing I
lost.
cannot stand about local businesses. Like I will say one thing on the door, and I'm out there, and you ain't
Waiting
there
on you for
yet.
30 minutes.
Right? You come pulling up on
I
the
went to a
phone.
local business this week that I have supported before, and I'm almost certain when I supported them the last time I said I wasn't coming back, and
But you went
just
back?
I did go back, and it was horrible. Like the place looked nasty, my food was cold, and it was a pretty pricey meal. And I'm not gonna blast little baby on the
I don't know,
radio.
You
but
gonna
you
tell
gonna
me when
tell
we
us
go on
after.
break,
And
You
I'm
sure
definitely gonna
are.
tell y'all after.
please?
But
I
I'm
might
not
have
gonna
the same
blast them on the radio.
experience.
But it is a pretty big business. And I just was not pleased for the
Maybe it's
amount of
you.
money that I made. No, it's definitely not me,
I'm
ma'am.
just playing, Cheetah.
It's definitely not me, man. And I'm a supporter of most things Birmingham, and I'm a big supporter of black business. So I'm always going to look for those things to support opposed to a chain. But I just didn't have a really good experience.
So that came up in the conversation yesterday, talking about how Pinky has grown her business, how Slutty Vegan has branched out, how she started, what marketing looks like, owning the buildings that your businesses are in, and I mean, she really she, as Isaac said, she dropped some free jewelry. We just pick, you got jewelry to pick up. So being in that space for her to be able to say, "Hey, I don't have to spend money on marketing anymore. I have a great PR person, and word of mouth is amazing. People are telling about their experiences, and it's amazing." So the question is, for those of you who are just tuning in, because I did just start the live, will we show up like that for somebody here, somebody at home that's doing a grand opening? If I decide to go back and reopen Vital Life Family Counseling, are y'all gonna come to a grand opening, or is it, or does it have to be a food place?
It's gotta be food.
Um,
Did you do a Vital Life life counseling grand opening?
Yeah, but I mean, I was in an office space, so it wasn't like I had a building,
Like,
like groundbreaking on a building or nothing like that. But I did open
I
my
guess
business.
I guess it would be different if the location and stuff was
Right.
different.
I get that.
for me, I think you have to speak to your crowd, right? You have to do things that's going to draw a crowd in. You know, we live in Birmingham, so anything free,
Uh huh.
anything with free food.
I would
Uh,
have hot dogs and hamburgers, duh.
I
Like
mean,
we
I
always
might
got
not.
free
I ain't
hot
gonna lie.
dogs and hamburgers.
I might not show up for a hot dog and hamburger. Cause,
I got toppings.
but if you, I might not show up for a hot dog or hamburger. But if you got a piece of fish, a piece of light bread, some
Yeah,
mustard,
most a little hot
salt.
sauce. But she can't have fish. She her throat
Okay,
be
she
closed
can't
enough. She
have
can't have
fish, but you
fish.
give me a piece. Give me three wings
Couple French
and a hot
fries.
sauce packet or
Okay.
so.
So the packaging and the whole situation is what brings people out. It's not just simply that you're from Birmingham, you got a business, and
Yeah, you
we're
have to do
happy.
something that speaks to the crowd that you're trying to draw. I don't think that it's not that Birmingham won't show up,
Okay.
but what are you doing that's going to make me get out of my bed on any given Saturday to come and support what you have going on? Now, of course,
And wait in line around the
and wait in
building.
line. She gave. I saw this on Facebook. I didn't attend, but I did see where she gave the first. Was it 5 or 6 people $500?
What?
Now she didn't know. I mean, they didn't know. Of course, they were just coming to come. But I think that they lined up at 9 a.m.
Okay.
and she gave. I don't remember if it were 5 or 6, but it was definitely at least five. She gave them $500 a piece.
Wow.
See, but again, like she said, she doesn't have to do marketing anymore.
No,
Once your business has like a buzz going, you don't really have to do that. And I also think a lot of stuff in Birmingham kind of like pops off from popularity.
Absolutely. And
Like
trend. It's just
it's
trendy.
trending, like them Gulf chicken wings.
Yeah. What
I don't
happened to
think no
that?
right. I don't think nobody else is talking about their restaurant at all at this point. But for the
now
last
I got a friend who.
for about 2-3 weeks, the wings was the main conversation. I never had none. I didn't want one either, but you know,
The shade.
it wasn't she, but it was more so like I don't like to do stuff that is just a trend.
And see,
Right.
I'm the
It has to
exact
be good
opposite.
you
business
like the
for me.
trend.
I do like the trend, and I'm
Okay.
the person who wants to try it just to try it. Now, I didn't. My husband said we couldn't go buy $100 wings.
I'm glad James got see.
Way over. So I didn't get to try those. I didn't get to try those, but I thought that my thing is any publicity is good publicity, right? Whether y'all wanted to try the wings or not, they still made money
Now, a lot of
based on the
money.
buzz around, based on the buzz around it. So
Okay. Any publicity is good publicity. Once again, shouts out to Pinky Cole and Slutty Vegan for making their way into Birmingham, Alabama, to the Magic City. If you want to check them out, they are over in Woodlawn. Today was the day now. For as much as I can appreciate culture and trend, I hate lines.
I cannot stand it.
I'll do it every now and then. But I'm gonna go this week. And I'm gonna go this week because not only is it new to the city, but it's actually good. So like
Is it?
I'm not vegan. But it's good food. It's
I
good
like
food.
good food. But I do be
And
having questions like, okay, this vegan. If this ain't no burger, then what
see
is
them the
it? What
questions
kind of
I be
meat is
having. Why
that?
it look like meat for real? Now I'm good. I eat a black bean. I eat a black bean burger all day. And I'm not a real big meat eater, but I don't, why it look like
Like,
meat?
Riley, why that chicken sandwich look like chicken?
all right, you said that all promo was good promo, all promotion was good promotion. There's a letter that was written to a teacher this week. We talked about it in the think tank. Hey, Chuck, thank you so much. Oh man, chill out. It's
Oh.
just caramel. Listen to this, Miss Smith. My daughter comes home. I need to pull it closer.
You need your glasses.
What is going on?
You want my glasses?
I'm good. My daughter comes home complaining about you almost every single day. Make it stop. I don't have time for parents conferences that aren't necessary. I write talk shows. We come from a talking family. My baby is gonna talk. I talk a lot. I don't know what you have going on, but please stop doing whatever it is that you're doing to make her complain about you in a negative way. I expect her to come home today with a pleasant experience from you today. Smiley face. Then she put her name. P.S. If you're gonna call me, please make sure it's not to complain about her talking because I won't understand. Smiley face. Make sure she's actually being disobedient when you punish her for anything, including keeping her from PE. I expect a wonderful school year. Okay. So that letter was written to this person's child's teacher.
Okay means violence to me.
Okay, like get it, got it. So we
Okay,
talked
darling?
about it on Thursday with the different demographic of viewer and listeners. We got a lot of mixed opinions, and I wanted to bring it to our audience. Pretty much the same level of diversity. But what do you all think about that?
Okay. No, yeah, okay. That's
Ready?
what I think.
Go ahead.
Okay. So you have open-endedly set up the foundation for the child to not do well with discipline. So if I know that if I go home to my mom and I say something unfavorably about the teacher
Mhm.
or any part of the staff, I've made it easy for me to get away with basically what I want to get away for because my parent is going to stand behind me.
Okay.
You've also made it easy for your child to be a distraction to others. So how will other children learn if your kid don't know how to be quiet? Now
Your
I
child is a
understand.
talker.
Yeah, your child is a talker. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand you don't want to mute children. I never
Right.
want to do that. But there's a time and a place for everything. And school is not the time or the place. Now there are set hours. I think in that letter she said something about PE. Talk there.
Or lunch.
Yeah, or lunch. There's definitely room for social settings in school, but it's definitely not during learning hour. And then if the kid is missing something, then what?
You're gonna write another letter.
Right. And this is another reason that I could never teach our children because I'll tussle.
There we go with that tussle.
I sure will.
Like so letter shouldn't have been written. Letter could have been written
It's
differently.
not.
What?
So I think that I was raised on it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Mhm.
In this case, it was definitely a mixture of both. It was what you said and definitely how you said it, and the fact that you felt the need to take it to social media for me. And then I think
Yeah.
that there are just reading some of the comments because I didn't follow it for long, but I did see where someone was able to reach out to the child's school. I don't know how they gained that information, but for me, even if, let's just say, if my child is in that teacher's classroom, it's sort of an embarrassment, right?
Mhm.
So now, what have you done as it relates to the teacher being able to teach not only your child but children in the classroom as well?
Man, it's so many layers to that.
And then, like, you have to worry about how you present yourself as the parent and adult as well. You have to think about like how you have displayed who you are, the type of person you are prior to. You make a name for yourself before you know it with some people. Some people may already know you. Like, oh,
I think that
you're
as
who that is. I'm expecting this from you.
I think also that we really like, okay, this is a free service, right?
Yeah.
I think that people are really confused about what a free service is as it relates to teaching your children.
Oh, you mean like public school being
Yeah,
free?
it is. Yeah, this a
Well,
free
for the most part, yeah.
yeah, it's a free service. Like, it's, you can't just do what you want to do because I have to be here. So what if your child can't go here? Would you act the same way for an establishment that you were paying for?
She would.
You would? I mean, you may. I don't know.
say you, because people already thought it was me anyway.
Oh,
I didn't
well,
do
not
that.
you, but I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
not Candace. It's not me.
Wait, what happened?
When we were talking about this Thursday, people like, is that your best friend?
No, that was not
And
me.
I'm
Like,
which one? Because I know y'all ain't talking. Y'all can't think this is black, do you?
like y'all, you know what? I almost said something about y'all mamas, but I'm working on myself, so I did.
I was
See,
like,
that's why they
no.
thought it was you.
Right? Like, whoa. Let me call her. Tell her stop acting
I'm
like
glad
that.
y'all ain't think it was me.
I've grown, so
they
I
just
don't
didn't
act
know
like
to say
that no
your
more.
name.
Anymore.
Shut up.
Anymore.
I don't.
So yeah, just getting us started. Like, these are some things that have happened locally in the week that we've covered. I don't know that it's been such a busy week of
Did y'all see? And not to interrupt, but did you see the guy, the jeweler who got killed? Did y'all see that?
Jacob?
I
Was it
shared it
Jacob
on
the
my-
jeweler? No.
No. His dad is really famous in Atlanta. His dad is Cedric Mahaffey.
that
Right.
sounds familiar, but I have not seen
His
that
dad is
story.
Cedric, and I can't remember the son's name, but it was really, really sad. I shared it on my page a little bit earlier, so my heart goes out to his family. But they're really successful jewelers. They were born and raised in Birmingham. Dad moved to Atlanta and became a jeweler to the stars. Son kind of followed in his footsteps. He made a run to Birmingham to sell jewelry, and somebody tried to rob him and killed him.
Really?
Yep.
Did it happen in Birmingham?
Yeah, it happened in Birmingham.
The jewelers from where?
Oh, they're from Birmingham.
Wow. I have not
I'm
heard.
almost certain that the son went to Winona.
Condolences.
Oh, wow.
He didn't, I think he's much younger than me, so I didn't personally know him. But it's pretty sad.
Yeah, definitely.
Rhonda Denmark Link, matriarch to radio star Levy's Fine Jewelry in Birmingham dies. Is that what we're talking about?
No, I don't think.
No, that's Levy's downtown.
They're
That's on
they're
Second
black.
across
That's
from
where I bought
Collins.
my first real thumb ring from.
Ready?
A real thumb ring. Oh, it's sterling silver.
You wear a toe ring?
I used to back in the day.
I think that is just so country now.
What?
It
A
is
toe
now.
ring.
Wait, now?
Yeah.
I wear anklet.
What was
Anklets
back
are
in the
real
day?
cute.
I mean, I don't know because I wasn't back in the day looking for a toe ring.
I mean, you ain't never had a toe ring?
No, my mama wouldn't let me with it.
Why?
Because my mama said
It probably was a sign
It
of
was-
my mama said that was
thoughttism.
fast.
Right.
Well,
Thottiest.
I wore a thottism toe ring. Well, look, we got some other stuff to talk about too that is relevant to what we're talking about at this moment because of the jeweler and that situation. It's just amazing how things segue. So we have a revote coming in. This is about the church and the role in voting. But then outside of Birmingham, we're out of the minutes from the Magic City and into some news. Juanita Bynum, and I'm going to play this for you guys a little bit later on. I think I'm going to try to
Can you
pull it
play a
up.
Juanita Bynum song? Because I'm lost.
Oh, let me see. Maybe,
She a
maybe
singer?
not.
Yeah.
She
she's
a
a
gospel
minister.
singer.
Well, I thought she
What
was just a
kind of
preacher.
singer?
Gospel.
Dang,
I thought-
no. Let's
Wait,
see.
she got like albums?
Yeah.
No.
Hey guys.
No.
I'm sorry. Hey girls. Hey women. Ladies.
Yeah, it's cool. I will have to get that for you. But basically, Juanita Bynum said that you cannot listen to secular music and be saved. And then it's also another site. It's this site that keeps coming up on Instagram where let me find this girl's name. What's the wife to the guy that was cheating on her? She got on a thing with a bonnet on. What's her name?
Oh,
That happened every
I know who you're talking
that happened
about.
every day, don't it? Like somebody
She
got
was
famous off that?
As they made her a meme and like she was
Yeah, it
like
was
a
horrible.
No Limit Soldier meme
He
too.
was like a
Yeah.
Was it Gangsta
relationship
Boo?
therapist.
Derek Jackson.
Yeah, that's him.
So his wife's name is like, I want to say Dana, I think. Something like that. But she has a clothing line now where she has
Girl,
these
she
super-
got a clothing line.
It's horrible. Super save clothes. I don't know if they can hear me out here or not, but y'all, I'm a pastor's daughter and I ain't wearing none of it. Okay.
You a PK?
Yeah.
How
Larry
did
is
you
a-
not know that? How you didn't know that, Chuck?
What?
Wait a minute. Why you laughing so hard, Chuck?
Like I done gave him some or something.
What? I did not. Okay, you learn something new every day.
You didn't know
Chuck
that.
don't be knowing the stuff he's supposed to know. I'm trying
I
to
don't know that. I
understand.
didn't know that. I didn't know you was
Yeah.
a PK.
Yes, man.
You was wild in school, huh? You was wild.
No.
Huh?
No.
Off air.
No, never. Anyway,
Now you said last
Um,
weekend she was sneaking people in the house.
I'm just trying to get a show.
So look-
I write talk shows. Well, I'm just trying to
I'm
get
gonna hang up on you.
Okay.
And we ain't even
Go
on the
ahead,
phone.
Black.
You're
Go
an
ahead.
Abby, you're an Abby Award winner.
For real. Go ahead so we can get on to the second part of the
I
show.
pulled up the story on Yahoo News. They tagged the story. Twitter pulled the receipts of after spiritual hypocrite Juanita Bynum condemns
Ooh.
secular music.
What?
They called it later spiritual hypocrite.
Hey, so all
I
them shirts that
mean-
people was rocking, I like God and trap music. I guess she ain't like them.
No,
guess
not at
not.
all. Not at all. Because you can't do both. And it was real. So it really made me have to reach into my prayer closet and get in there and see, like, Jesus, am I doing something wrong? Because I play secular music every day. I grew up on good secular music with the preacher.
Fly Day would have a come apart if he were here.
I mean, this is so.
And
like,
the question that you would have to ask yourself, ma'am, Miss Mama, the secular music, what does that consist of? And how do you know that it's secular if it's not something that you listen to?
She does know it's secular because she listened to it.
because she was dancing to it, in
right.
to Mary J. Blige. Now I did in her
To
defense.
just fine.
I said that's motivational.
No,
you know,
that is very secular. Everything
Secular.
is secular.
secular music is music out anything that's not gospel, right? So like you definitely ain't listening to the blues and southern soul. That condones cheating.
Well,
and
I don't know though,
two-stepping.
because some people consider Mary's music to be like kind of secular, right? They consider them to be secular beings altogether.
So what about Ty Tribbett and Kurt
Who?
Franklin?
Ty Tribbett's
And
new song is rather secular.
It is. I like it. It's
Uh,
dope.
You
I like
got
the
Christian
video.
rappers out there too.
Let me
Talking about
just
like
find it.
Corday and all them.
But then you
Yeah.
have to, it's the crowd that you're
I
speaking
have
to,
it right here.
You got go on see if go on put your mic down
You
there
are
today.
very icy today. Again.
She been out there with her
Hold-
schoolmates. Who
Hold
know.
up.
Hey,
Hold
that's
up,
hey,
Chuck.
and you got
Hold up, Chuck.
you shining in the
Let's see what
headphones,
you got,
too.
Black. This is
You can stop and listen to secular music. Who told you that? No, come on, hit it. Hit it, Unica. Who told y'all that? Who told y'all that the church is supposed to be this? Who told y'all that it's okay if we just jam? Who told you that you can do this and then sing in the choir? Then sing on the praise team. I'm not hearing y'all talk to me. Then
I
you
like
do
that
this
song.
and pick up a mic and want to prophesy. You can't prophesy when you just got to dancing to the devil's music.
the devil's music.
Man,
Because that's what's in some of y'all cars right now. But I hear Lord saying, clean it up. It's time to clean the church.
you got a
Okay.
big church.
She may have been speaking somewhere at that time.
Like where is she a preacher? I don't know anything about her.
I don't know where she is now. So basically, Chuck, just Google her. She's always
I'm
been in
not
the
gonna do
news. I want you to know who's,
She
kind
doing
of
all that
know.
hollering. I don't want to hear all that. She hollering at me like
She
that.
sounded like she say library and ambulance. So I'm good.
I'm alone.
Juanita Bynum is experienced in the ministry, and this was really different. And then there have been other pastors that have come out against Beyonce's "Church Girl." That song, I'll share some lyrics with you of that, or you can go Google it. But I think when people make these statements like this, you have to have something. You have to have some doctrine to back it up on. So I posed a Facebook status question, and I tagged some other pastors' daughters in there, asking them,
PKs.
"Are we?"
My bad.
Your dad a whole judge.
Girl,
And
somebody.
a PK.
Yeah, possible.
I don't know why she did to herself, but somebody done said on here she got on a secular wig. What's the problem?
I mean, if it's okay.
It was wet and
It was
wavy.
wet and wavy.
But how can there, being able to live a life where you are in the world, you're in the world, we go out, we socialize, we partake in Starbucks, we go to the mall, we buy the new shoes, we get our hair. Are we not supposed to be doing those things? Does it make us any less of good people? Does that make us I mean,
No, it doesn't. And actually that's what turns so many people away from church and being saved. Like, because you got pastors like this. You
It-
can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Don't show your knees, don't wear lipstick, don't do this, don't do that. And then what is there left to do besides pay all my tithes to you?
okay. Let's take a quick break and come back and talk about that. Then we're gonna bring in Revolt. Got D Reed coming to the airways. Carl McClure is here. Uche Bean is here. We about to get into this conversation with some people that are gonna step in right on time when we start talking about the role of the church in today's society. When it comes to voting as one, but then I want to hear from them also. Oh, yeah, you haven't seen this in a long time, right?
Trying to get hot in here, yo.
But oh, come on, increase. I want you to talk about some
I like
other
God and
things
trap
too.
music.
Yes, I want them to get in on this conversation. So when we come back from our break, you're going to hear from our guests this evening, not only on what they're here for, but on what we're talking about. Because was Juanita Bynum onto something? Are we just
No.
doing too much?
Was she talking about the preachers that got the first lady and then the second lady 3 rows later? She talking about that kind of stuff too? Like,
If it's
come
in the
on.
secular music,
I mean,
which it is.
yeah. I mean, come on now.
I left home
She got
with my
kids?
side chick. I don't know. What's the other song? I'm gonna
It's-
keep on rolling. I
And
need
that's
3.
my favorite.
Right, that's secular. We need gospel, only gospel.
Man, she ain't
Uh-oh.
she ain't just
See, here we go.
she don't just be listening to gospel on Saturday night when, well, never mind.
Okay, see, we'll talk about it when we come back. You're listening to Vital right here on B94.9 WATV. If you want to get in on this conversation, I'll open the phone lines and then we'll get you on the air as soon as we come back. We'll be right back. Hello, family. Hey, cousin. Hey. She's a pastor's daughter as well, so she's gonna get on your yeah. We're gonna talk about that. Then I'm gonna show you what else.
It is warm in here. Can we crack a door?
Yeah, you open it. Hey, cousin. How are you doing? Hey, nice to meet you, Wes. I'm Woo. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk about.
I gotta move because y'all be treating me
Uh, there's another the other young lady I was talking about. She posted a picture, and it's on my Facebook page right now. If you all want to go and see who I'm talking about, she had on a red dress with her thigh out. It had a slit, and her thigh was out, and just a little cleavage. Like she looked elegant. But she did two pictures. She has a boutique, and this is what I would say the boy named Derek Jackson. Derek Jackson's wife. Y'all remember he was cheating and embarrassed her a lot or whatever.
Goodness.
So now she has a clothing line.
Bless her.
Yeah, her and the clothing line needs to be blessed. Okay, I'm just being honest. And I don't even talk about people, but listen, this is what she put: lukewarm Christian versus committed relationship. Being transformed by the renewing of your mind automatically reflects in every area of your life as you commit to a relationship with Jesus Christ. Holy girl fall tea dress. So I'm gonna show y'all in studio the dress. That's the dress when she wasn't as saved, when she was lukewarm. Okay, lukewarm.
Not on fire for Christ.
This is Derek Jackson's wife. Okay. Now let me show you the outfit now. This is what she's rocking now. These are clothes she's selling now. What's the difference? We're looking at the outfit. Would you order that? Let me show you another one.
Not in Alabama in the summertime.
Exactly. Cara, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I got one more. Are we looking? Okay.
She's going to the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
What is that?
The outfit.
That's great.
Okay. So if you all who are listening and viewing want to see the outfit, go to my social media and check that out. Now, the reason that I'm doing this and the reason that this is important to me is because when we talk about church and we talk about religion and spirituality and church, it gets such mixed signals, mixed messaging. We don't know. We should mix church and state. I don't know if I should wear this shirt because it's this. I can't say that. I can't go here because then people would think this. It gets really confusing sometimes. And then ladies like that really make it difficult for ladies like us. It could be that way. So in studio right now, revote. So ladies that okay, I love they on fire.
Let's go.
Let me get at some other applause on this side. Names that you know, faces that you know. You all, I'll let you introduce yourselves. I'm not going to even take that from you. But family to all of us in the community, they've always been working and it's still working. And I'm really happy to see that now they're working together, which I'm even happier to see. So tell us who you are. Who's on the other side of the board?
Everybody's looking at me. Everybody's looking at me. Okay, all right. They said, "Is there one?" All right.
Keep it churchy.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Uche Bean. So, in my daytime job, I do serve in the mayor's office in the Division of Social Justice and Racial Equity. But I am super proud, super humbled to have come in contact with who I consider, a giant that we have to stand on her shoulders. Who is doing what I've been complaining about for a couple weeks,
Okay.
leading different generations into what I consider liberation. And I'm having the opportunity to work with Carl McClure, so she's going to introduce herself, of course, but I'm working on the Revote project as a project manager. And I'm so excited because this is literally what I think is Black liberation, if we're looking at it in America, is engaging voters, pushing the policy and the things that we need as Black people and in our situations these days going forward. So I'm super humbled and blessed. So that's all.
Okay. Okay. All right, deputy. Okay. Cara, like in the mic.
I'll go ahead and jump in and
Thank you,
then
Dee.
I'll toss it to Wes. But what's up, family? I'm Dee Reed, community organizer from Birmingham. And the beautiful thing about this project is that it just really speaks to the power of Birmingham and what it produces. We know that Birmingham has birthed movements. Birmingham has birthed a number of leaders. And so I really think that this particular project will serve as a game changer as we really bridge the gap between the church community and activists so that we can figure out how we can all leverage our power, our influence, our platform so that we can begin to build sustainable political power, not just here in Birmingham, but I believe that what we do here, the seeds that we sow here, will really inspire folks all across the state of Alabama. So we're looking forward to the fruit that will be produced as a part of Cara's vision and all of these folks. So there are a number of people that are
Yes.
part of the team.
Okay.
Yes.
Some are in the room, many are not here with us today, but we stand in the gap. Since we're gonna keep it church, and we stand in the gap for them on today. All right, Wes, it's on you, brother.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Wesley Wright. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Regenerate Society.
RS.
So that's probably by night as I work in the office until late at night. And then artist name, I go by the name Wes Cam. So I'm on the stage, artist, performers,
Absolutely.
host, whatever you need. Throw me a microphone, I got you.
Gotcha.
And I probably just, as I always say, like Uche kind of stole the words, before she got into the pulpit. Probably standing literally in the presence of giants.
Right.
And I'm really probably the freshman that made varsity somehow. So I'm taking it. I'm learning. It's the
Okay.
crash course. But something my nonprofit does is actually one of our divisions out of 5 is activism. So we try to take, what the word actually says and teach our 17 to 24-year-olds how to actively apply it. Like, it's cool to hear it on Sundays. Like, you see city councilors come up, you see people speak, but you leave and still not necessarily know how to even register yourself to vote. So, like, it's the little things in terms of taking the word and actually put it, from the pulpit actually to the streets and what people see. So
No, that's right.
that's what we do.
That's what's up. The introductions, could be enough. Okay. Okay. And the giant, right? The shoulders that we stand on. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Cara McClure. I'm the founder of Faith and Works. I started, and Faith and Works is a statewide civic engagement collective. And I started that in 2019 to bridge the gap between the faith community and the activist community. During the rise of Black Lives Matter, there was a gap. Not only a disconnect, not only that, but young people left the church in droves. And that broke my heart because I love the church. I love our faith leaders and I love our young people to death. But I just noticed some gaps, some breaches, and it made me think about some things, y'all. It made me think about when we were younger, how we used to walk to church, how the church was right down the street and everyone lived in the community where their church was located. But our reality is different. And it's not saying anything is wrong with it.
Right.
But our faith leaders don't live in the communities where their churches are located. And that leaves a gap. And the Bible talks about being repairers of the breach. And that's who we are today. We're repairing the breach, restoring the hope, building community and political power at the same time.
I love it. Thank you all for introducing yourselves in such a dynamic way. Shouts out to our viewers who just joined in. Eddie Bradford said, hey, just joining. What have I missed so far? And hello, Miss Dina. Hey, Z, and Courtney, and Johnny. So hello to all of you who are checking in and wanting to be caught up. So what we're doing right now is talking to Revote, whole group of dynamic people in. They hadn't even started talking about what they're here to talk about yet. But right before that, we were talking about Juanita Bynum and her attack on secular. Like, it was an attack on the secular part of the world, which is life not lived in balance. And I see in this room we have balance for sure, because all of us have kicked it in different arenas of life, but we always come back to the foundation of what's important. And that is where the magic lies. That's where the work is. So that's what you've missed. Basically, shared some interesting pictures of a young lady who started a saved clothing line of clothes that I never wear. And Juanita Bynum, I'm not wearing that. Juanita Bynum said that we can't listen to secular music. And then if we didn't do that, I wouldn't have a job. D, you wouldn't have had an opportunity.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been able to party together. All right, so that's how we got here.
The only thing that I will really add to the conversation is that's really the work that we've been called to do, right? In terms of being light, because really darkness is just the absence of that.
Okay.
And so just kind of thinking about my journey, when you know this, but we were working in hip hop, but we would literally be in nightclubs praying with people and minister and encourage. And here's the thing, and it may not have been like we speaking in tongues, but just to encourage people. And I now, years later, hear from people just about how, man, that night I needed that.
Girl.
Right. And so I think that we really have to find a way that we can be all things to all people, because there's an audience that all of us will be able to reach, but it requires us being in the highways and the byways. And that's a lot about what we talk about, even with the Revo Project, in terms of who Jesus was. He was an activist. Yep.
God,
and speaking of that, there's a really neat book that confirmed who we are, our activism, because during the rise of Black Lives Matter, I got really confused. I understand my faith. I'm strong in my faith, but the way that the public responded to activists and activism, the ones still alive, like we celebrate Martin Luther King now,
Yeah.
and we celebrate all of the ones that's gone, but we treat the activists, we weren't welcome, we weren't supported, and so, oh, Jesus Christ, and so it just made me think about. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry,
You
y'all.
good. You good. Take
The
your
way
time.
that the activists were treated, and it's just time to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what we're hoping to do.
I was like, when you started speaking about that, Carl, that's when we got close in that time. And I was thinking about why some of that could have happened, which is a whole nother show topic.
Yeah.
But for the purpose of the conversation, you do have to address the need for that balance. Once again, you have to have that light, even in those spaces where it is light. It's lit, full of energy, right? But is it always good energy? Is it always solid energy where I understand what I'm acting about? Why am I an activist right now?
Yeah.
Because everybody else mad and I want to say something too. That's not, no.
Well, I just
no.
captured my thought, and I'm sorry, but I was saying that I didn't fully understand if what I was doing was legitimate,
That was
if it
profound,
was
too,
right,
when you said
if
that.
it was pleasing to God. And then I was watching on social media, and a guy named Dexter Strong was doing a course on a book called The Politics of Jesus. And I watched, and all of a sudden something came over me, and I felt whole again.
Okay.
I felt my activism was legit. I was pleasing God with my work. Every time I went to jail, every time I was on the front line on the Fight for 15, fighting with the Poor People's Campaign, I felt legitimate again. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, let's come back to our communities. How can we bridge that gap?
Yeah.
What is something that the faith community and the activist community can all agree on and work together on while we work out the kinks? And that one thing was civic engagement.
Okay.
We all want to increase voter turnout.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we get to what the solution was, the solution was that we can work together. I want to know who you are. A lot of times people will be in rooms with people that do what they do. I don't know why you do it. I don't know why you're so passionate about it. And if I knew that, maybe then it wouldn't be so much tension and so much discord, because now I get it. Oh, I see why you're so driven. You come from driven people. Let's start. Where do we start? We started with Uche at first. Uche,
What'd I do?
how did you get into this work? Why does this mean so
Oh,
much to you?
Goodness. Well, for those that don't know, my father, longtime activist in Birmingham. I won't lie, watching him, there was a time where I was in school and, teachers ran into the room and was like, your dad's on the news. I'm like, what's going on? He's standing at the courthouse with a rifle and a shotgun. Like, he had a shotgun because it was a lot, because he was standing tall by himself.
Yeah.
He didn't have a group of people with him. He didn't organize a bunch of people. He's by himself. It's that's one of the things I'll always remember. But he was fighting against the sale of the Birmingham Waterworks Board and privatizing the organization. And the thing about it is that, of course, the sale went through, right? And now people are still to this day dealing with the remnants of that sale. And I think it's important to, be able to stand tall on your own. And he taught me that. I don't always totally agree with him or the things that he does or the way he does it. But I think that there's a point. And what he always taught me, my father's very pro-Black, and I've always been that way.
Yes.
And I'm going to always fight for Black people no matter what. And so my drive is understanding why I have to fight for Black folks. And my dad taught me that. I fought it for a long time because I wanted to be mainstream. I wanted to be corporate. I didn't want to get involved. I had the opportunity with this job that I have, which is my daytime job, but I always feel like I'm not doing enough. Understand, I could be at home with my kids. I could be chilling and not doing anything else, but I'm always going to stand tall in community. It's in my blood. I'm going to continue to fight for it. It goes back to my family, not just my father, but my grandfather, being a Dynamite Hill protector, standing there on Dynamite Hill.
Was he like
While
a Buffalo soldier?
he was a Buffalo soldier. So my family, it's in my blood. I can't even fight it. And so I'm passionate about this work, and I'm going to continue to do it, and I'm going to continue to teach my children.
Right.
And I'm going to look back and look at other people that I think would add value to this work.
Absolutely. I love that. And the idea that when I was little, I saw it, right? Like, you saw this stuff and didn't really understand what you were seeing, the magnitude of what you were seeing, and then how now you're still in it. I
Right.
still see it. I see what my dad was standing for, and you've been so influenced by that to continue the work. We went to D Reed next. So, how did you get in this work, young lady?
Yeah, so much like Uche, I would also just say that it's in my blood. As she was talking about her father, I was thinking about my dad, who has really inspired a lot of the work that I do today. There was no job too big or too small for him, right? So just a long line of servants. And he was a pastor, but he also cleaned buildings. He had businesses, but he also would pick up trash. Like he was that person that was going to do whatever was needed in the community. But I think also a part of the story is that it was really pain that propelled me into purpose, because losing him in 2011 due to an attempted robbery for me really spoke to a much larger issue as it pertains to poverty within our communities, because the guy who was the perpetrator was 28 at the time, right? And even going through that process, being in the courtroom as he was on trial, he spoke about the fact that that wasn't supposed to happen. Like that wasn't a part of the plan. He was simply trying to put food on the table.
Wow.
And so for me, it was a shift, because I'm like, okay, as devastating as this is, how can I now serve as a solution to this? How can I also invoke change? Like, how can I tap into the purpose in which God has allowed us now to experience this? Because his word says that he'll cause all things, even the challenging things, even the adversity, even the painful things, to work together for our good in the end. And so that really pushed me into politics. I ran for office. Several years later, I didn't have a ton of experience in that space, but I realized that we are the experts in our communities, right? We went to school there, we worked there, we served there. So that makes us the experts. I called up all of my friends. I'm like, hey, none of us have ever done this before besides just actually voting. But God gave me this and God gave me your name. And I believe that we have what we need in our community, which speaks to, again, the power of just what we have in the house. Like the widow woman, she had nothing but a little bit of bread and a little bit of oil, and her plan was to eat it and then die. But the prophet came and said, look, use what you got in the house. And we know how God then used that to multiply. And that's exactly what he did. We ran a race. We came a few votes shy from being in the runoff, but when one door closes, another one opens. So then it allows me now to do for the nation what I thought I was just supposed to do for a district. And so really being able to now have that experience really expanded my faith and just the possibilities of what I can also now reimagine in my community. Because a lot of times we think we have to go off to be great, but you can be great where you are. So it's really this ideal of blooming where you're planted and really finding purpose in whatever you face in life, knowing that you have exactly what you need. And the last thing I will say is, as we think about what it means to be an activist, I think a lot of times, people are intimidated by that word. But for the folks who are listening, you may not ever march on the front lines, right? Like we were in Louisville, we were in Minneapolis. And so that may not necessarily be how you show up in the space. You may not necessarily be standing in front of City Hall, but we do want to encourage you that there is something that you can do. Whether you can write petitions, whether you can leverage your social media platform, you can organize with your neighbors, with Miss Janie, with Mr. John on your block. Like you can become active in your neighborhood association, but there is something that you've been called to do. And so we're just making that clarion call to everybody.
I love it. So like with you sharing that, and thank you for sharing as much as you did about how you got into this work. With you sharing that, some of us have it directly in front of us to see. We talk about this almost every week, how we are sometimes just exposed to it. It's who we are. It's right in our front doors, in our home. But some people, they don't have that exposure. So thank you for saying that, hey, you can do something. It may not be as monumental as what other people makes their stuff sound like, but it's monumental. It's big somewhere. That little piece plays a big part. So thank you for that. Wes, it's on you. You got the fast 4 minutes, the final 4 of this part of the show.
Oh man, that's scary. I'm a Knicks fan, so I feel like I just watched Kobe drop 60. I don't know, like what you give me the ball
and
for.
I'm playing organ music in the background and church and everything.
It's beautiful. Oh, I'm not, but I'm a Knicks fan. Hey, look. Hey,
Chuck, you're not in the mic. They can't even hear you over here.
It's so personal right now. Oh my gosh, no, I'm playing. But that same question, right? Why? I think I asked the same question, literally, why? How I even ended up here
Okay.
in that same moment.
What's your why?
Long story short, in college, I was probably like 22, and so the organization that I was, serving with at the time, they had a goal of, doing voters, registration and just education, and it was one of the things where we were like, oh man, we can get an award for this, and I just was super competitive.
Okay.
It wasn't that I really cared about activism at that moment. I was
Okay.
just competitive, and I love to serve. And so in doing that, I'm from Huntsville, and she was talking about Dexter Strong. That's crazy because he like taught me in youth ministry.
Wow.
It's just a small world, right? But I realized the history that Birmingham actually has in relation to whether it be voters' history, voters' rights,
Yeah.
and being a spiritual connection in this community. And so accidentally, it just made me learn more and more about it and wanting to be a part of it and wanting to kind of see it. So, on top of that, I also was a biology and theater major. So more importantly for me, sometimes it's learning and paying attention to who's not in the room, right?
Mhm.
Or who's not there. There are so many people on one side of campus that have no idea what's going on in the other in the same exact
Look,
way. And for
yes.
us who's from out of town, we occupy such a large space of the Birmingham community. When you go to colleges and schools in that area, and you have no idea how much of a part you can actually play in how, being active, because I stayed off campus so I could vote. I'm looking at, Counselor Smitherman's name and I'm voting and I don't even have a clue who it is, right?
Right.
So, and it's that same idea, like, okay, there are young people that have no idea the type of power that they actually have, but also trying to take it from an idea of saying, okay, if this is what a college body could have, what really could the body of Christ have, and how much do
Okay.
they even know, right? So it just kind of like, fused into each other. And then going and performing and doing shows all around the city, there are so many other people that don't even know why they should care, that go out every single day, that are locals of Birmingham in this space or their community, and they just say, well, I ain't got nothing to do with me because they're not going to listen to me.
Okay.
And you have no idea the level of power just because maybe somebody didn't take the time to talk to you. So I kind of, like y'all are saying, bridging the gap. Like, I just love to be the guy sometimes that bridges the gap and then teach others how to do the same for their areas and communities that I can't step into a space for.
That's what's up.
That was so good.
That was good. And Carl, I was trying to save you for when we come back from the break to really give your insight, but we still got time, so we might as well do it now. When just hearing how you get into your work, and it's beautiful to see that people are still activated to activism by what they see. It's about what I see, who my mom is, who my dad is, what was missing on campus, what I felt like when I was in these spaces, what I didn't see in these spaces, what I knew. I felt something in me that should have said go, but I stayed. What's yours? Like that sounds like every reason in the world. What's yours?
Yeah. And Dee talked about or shared with folks that there is something that everyone could do. Like regular folks, there's something. I was a regular person when I was called into activism. I
Okay.
was an entrepreneur trying to start a business, had just come in from out of homelessness for 4 years. And my son actually called me into activism after Trayvon Martin was murdered and George Zimmerman was acquitted. I got a phone call from my son. He was upset and he said something about my generation dropping the ball. Like, I didn't grow up in activism. I didn't see anything. I grew up in kind of carefree. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to my son because I listen to young people. And I said, okay, when I come home, I'll find something to do. And that was when folks were protesting or having a protest on 280 at the summit. Y'all remember
Yes,
that?
yes.
And so I said, let's go. So we put on hoodies and we went. That was my first protest ever. And then there was a second protest. I said, I'm gonna go to that one and see what they talking about.
Okay.
And I just listened the whole time. And each time I was thinking, maybe I should provide some water and some food. I didn't know what to do. And then that third time, somebody went to jail at Walmart. And I was like, well, let's go somewhere and eat and talk about how we can help him get out of jail. And I sat there and said, I think we should organize. And I didn't know anything about organizing.
But we should do it.
But seeing the 3 Black women that started Black Lives Matter nationally showed me, taught me, instilled in me that I could use my voice for good. And so that's how I was activated. And then I went on from being the co-founder of Black Lives Matter to being on the front lines for the Fight for 15, being the tri-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, and running for statewide office. I ran for Public Service Commission, being the being an organizer or a coordinator for Black Voters Matter. and then a regional political director for the Alabama Democratic Party. So I'm uniquely positioned where my faith, my activism, my political work, my community work are colliding, and we are creating something special.
This is awesome. And for you, it just started. It just happened. Basically, what you're saying, like I heard the call, I answered, and didn't
Regular
even know what
person.
was happening.
Didn't know for a few years. And so what I did was, although I said let's organize, I had to stay in prayer constantly because we weren't well received.
Yeah.
And so I had to kind of understand, okay, I was living on 280. I was doing well as a business owner. And so even the folks that I was with in activism didn't view me as Black enough. And then the church, I felt like I really wasn't accepted because of my activism and calling folks out, you know. And so I had to learn how I had to, within myself, I had to go ahead and say, okay, I'm okay with being respected and not liked necessarily.
Okay.
And so I had to live with that it's okay. And so it's been a hard journey, but I've never given up. I've stayed in the word of God, kept the faith, and continuously I stay at home a lot in isolation so I can hear the voice of God and what he wants us to do. And then in 2019, I was like, you know what, y'all, we need to fill the gaps in our communities. There's a lot of apathy out there, and we need reconciliation. So what we're going to do, and we're going to talk about that later, is what Revolt will do. We have a fellowship coming up where we'll meet with faith leaders, maybe have a roundtable dinner, so we can have the hard conversations and then some reconciliation so we can move forward and do the work.
All right, so the work is about to get done. We come back. The crew is coming back in to join in on the conversation. If you have any questions, any thoughts, you can get in on this part too. But we're about to hear what Revolt's plan is. You're listening to Vital right here on V94.9 WATV. We'll be back in like a minute.
Revolt.
WATV and Santa Fe Massage and Wellness are getting you a getaway.
Oh, well, it's hard once you like. She's smoking. Get it, don't worry. I don't know when, but it's coming. It's delayed gratification, but it's coming. It's coming. I can take that. I got time. I got time. I got time.
I feel like this is real.
But no, y'all are cold.
Sorry. Well, it is very secular. Very secular.
And that's so wild, man. Like, y'all were talking about secular music, and like, y'all was talking about secular music, and like, DMX was one of the people that introduced me into Christ. That's what's so crazy.
Come back and say that. I know, right? Yeah. Make sure
y'all was talking, I was like, ooh, I like this. So like,
Yeah, like, and you think about how many people get distracted and turned away by messaging like that. Like, I don't go to church because I just went out last night.
I actually gave my life to Christ in the strip club.
And that's how it be.
Wow. Like, you know what? I ain't even supposed to be here. Jesus, I need you.
You got to meet people where they at.
Here we go. We are back. Welcome in again. Hour number 2 of the Abby Award-winning Vital Show. I'm your host, Lady Wu. The crew is behind me. Special guests are in front of me. Revote is on the mic. Yeah, we were having a conversation.
Revote.
As we always do, we have a conversation off the air that is equally vital and very much thought provoking. So you just said something, Wes, when because we have to always go back to what started the conversation. We were talking about secular music, the church, the purpose of the church, the role of the church in today's society. And you said this. What did you say?
Oh, so we were talking, and it's so funny when you think of secular music. Like a lot of times, you're thinking about the context, who's saying it, what they're saying, but like DMX was one of the first people that introduced me into Christ. Like Cradle to the Grave is one of my favorite movies of all time. And like growing up, my cousins were always bumping that. I saw the album covers, and you just see him in blood. It's just like, what is going on here? But you hear the music, and that's always what stuck to me is the storytelling element of it. So to hear him for 3 minutes literally talk about nothing but his relationship with Christ,
Man.
like a lot of people don't realize those are songs that he like was one of the best at and having in his arsenal. They're raw. It's not 3-syllable vocabulary.
Right.
It's not
Wow.
backpacking,
Sound effects.
as they say. Nah, it's just him pouring his soul out a lot of times. And like what we always talk about with RS is just being first base. Like sometimes everybody wants you to like, take a baseball, hit it out the park, and get everybody around back to home plate. When sometimes it's just if you can get somebody to first base,
Just bunt.
somebody else will come back and do the rest. So,
That's good.
sometimes
That's
you just kind of
good.
need those mediums to speak to people who hear it in a certain way. Like not everybody hears the Lecrae's or anybody.
Right.
I heard DMX and it worked for me.
And when I tell you
Wow.
DMX
Maybe
can
look at
pray,
everything else.
like if y'all ain't never heard a deacon pray, the closest thing you got is DMX. God rest DMX. So I thank you for sharing that because you think about the influence that people that church people have outside of the walls of a church. Like
Right.
I'm more influential outside of the church because in the church, that is where I want to go and be able to just be. I don't want to have to be on in church. I don't want to have to be thinking of the next topic or the next anything. I want to be in this moment, in this space, in my relationship. I want to be able to praise, I want to be able to worship, I want to be able to just really be in that moment, in that space. Now, if I'm in the grocery store and somebody's crying or somebody's having a moment elsewhere, I still have that relationship. Church is still in me. I can do that anywhere. Kara, you mentioned like you could be in a strip club. You can be on the corner, anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere. And this work still has to be done. So how is this work done through a revote? Like what does voting have to do with religion or church or faith? Or how does that go together?
Okay, so historically, the church has always been the hub. The church is one of the most important institutions, that we have. It was ours. It was a place of refuge. It was a safe space. It was the place to organize, not just during the civil rights movement, but also during enslavement. There's a documentary that we've fallen in love with called The Black Church. This is my story. This is my song.
This is
And
my
we-
story.
Yep. And we
Okay.
actually,
All right.
Hold on, wait, run it back.
It's Sunday.
this is my song.
Okay.
Okay.
Praising my look.
Let me turn the organ back on.
Yeah.
We started something,
We
y'all.
have meetings and we'll be singing church songs.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I got the hymn book. Let's go.
But
Go,
the
Kara.
church wasn't just there for for spiritual enrichment. It was also a beacon of hope politically and economically.
Yes.
And so all we're doing is saying, let's get back to that.
Right.
Let's make the church the hub again. And so our goal is to create 300 civic engagement ministries in churches across the state. That means during our fellowship that we're starting, we will have faith leaders just formed, just like they have the Salt and Pepper ministry in their church. Or what's the name of some ministries churches have?
The singles ministry, the
The
youth
singles
ministry.
Well, we're asking.
Basketball team.
Yeah.
Well, while they're in our fellowship, they'll be creating a civic engagement ministry.
Oh, I got somebody for you, honey.
They will be making a pledge. They will be saying, I'm taking back ownership of my role in the community where my church is located. Because remember, we talked about a gap because they don't live there anymore.
Right, the old landmark. Oh,
Yeah. And so
oh.
these churches across the state will have on billboards, voter registration deadline, October 24th. What we're trying to do is flood the community
Okay.
with constant reminders of how they are, how important they are, how important it is to vote when the deadline. Stop here for your absentee ballot.
Gotcha.
Stop here. So every community, instead of people having to drive downtown to get a voter registration form or an absentee ballot, they can stop
Grab
at the
one on
hub.
Sunday.
Gotcha. And the hubs are everywhere because you said 300. It's
Church.
300 churches right there on the
across
block,
the
right
state,
there.
because we know not
I'm
everyone will
laughing.
participate.
No, it's
in West
300 right
End.
outside.
in
What did you
the,
say?
in the same
Ends
way
West
that
End.
they didn't support Martin Luther King, like we won't be fooled, and people will participate without participating with us. They're gonna create some semblance of it, and we're okay with that too,
Okay.
as long as it happens.
So you all will be the hub. You will disseminate the information, maybe give them some insight and tell them when the dates are.
Well, we're creating a fellowship.
Okay.
It's an 8 to 10 week fellowship that we're
Okay.
having, and faith leaders, or you can nominate your church to participate right now, and we'll call your faith leader and see if there's something they want to be involved in, and just share some history with them.
Oh,
Let them
for
know,
sure.
because you don't want to invite anything into your church.
Right.
So we're letting them know we're not trying to recruit folks into activism. We're just trying to create hubs to start to increase voter education,
Gotcha.
voter participation, voter engagement. What are my rights? Just things like that.
The basic thing.
And so we're paying faith leaders to participate in this fellowship $3,000.
What?
So yeah,
That's part of the problem.
but
Chuck,
like
he-
so we can yeah.
Yeah, and so
So he's asking questions off
Yeah.
of the air that the people that are listening to the radio cannot hear.
But no, that's important. While she is talking about why we're doing this, one of the parts of when we were organizing this and talking and having conversations, we were discussing church hurt. We know it's a thing. We
Yeah.
understand that there's a lot of not only voter apathy but church apathy going on in communities, and so we. I think that's important to acknowledge, and I'm gonna let Chuck ask the question.
Yeah,
So
'cause
everybody
it's,
on
it's,
there.
it's a vital question.
No, how y'all gonna get kids back in church? Because the old black people that go to church, they're gonna vote anyway. The problem that y'all are having, that we having across the country, Alabama, Jefferson County, whatever it is, kids don't vote, right? And so you talk about voter apathy. People don't vote for a party anymore. People don't vote for a ticket. They don't do any of that. They might
Right,
go
they don't
vote
even
for a
go.
person, and then once they cast that one vote for that one person because they know them, then they move on. And if that person doesn't win an election or whatever, then they not coming back. So if you're going to do this church thing, and it sounds great, you also got to get, the 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds there too.
And
So
we're
that's
glad,
part of the issue.
and we're glad you asked that, because
Yeah.
that's our target. Our target
Yeah.
is our target is 18 to 35. If you go to our website, www.blackchurchvoterproject.com, you'll see our mission is 18 to about, is it 35 or 45?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's our target market. And you were
Right.
saying something?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the focus. We understand that. We understand that it's real. More than anything, I think it is bridging the gap. It's finding the commonalities. I mentioned something earlier, and it's Black liberation. So we're looking at Black liberation through civic engagement. How do we get there? It doesn't necessarily matter what road we take, but that we get there, right? And so you find out that there are things that generationally we may not understand or understand how we look at it, but we're all thinking about the same thing. We all want better communities. We all want, and at any point, and when you continue to get older, you want a better environment. You want a better family,
For sure.
stable jobs, life. And what people maybe find a hard way to understand is that in this country, civic engagement is the basis of all of those things. It is a determinant of the social determinations that we have going on in our communities today. And yes, that goes beyond just voting for someone. It's also voting for someone that matches, your ideals and your values, and also understanding that we have to think about the next generation. So someone
Man.
can't necessarily be in office for 40 years and we think that they have the same values as someone that's 35 years old. So you've been in office longer than I've been alive. So, things change. That doesn't mean that we're throwing people away because of their knowledge. We need them.
Right.
Right. So we have to understand that we're bridging the gap between young and old, between those that may not understand and those that are well versed,
Absolutely.
and understand that there is a gap to be bridged
It's
between those that are
mentorship,
in
it's
the church that are not
consulting.
in the church. We just
Yeah.
have to bridge that gap because we all want the same thing.
Absolutely. We want what's good and what's right. So to the question that Chuck asked, Wes, I was going to come to you because that's exactly what you spoke about, bridging that gap with the young people. How do we recharge the young people? Oh, he turned his head to the back like, oh, I'm about to go in on this answer. Go on, bring it to the mic, Wes.
Oh, funny.
Sorry.
No, I think I love the question, but I'm gonna challenge it just a little bit because I don't necessarily think the issue is bringing kids back into the church. I think it's an identity issue a lot of times too. The only reason why I say that is because a lot of times people want to focus on bringing people back to the church, but not really educating the kids on who they really are in being the church.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the times, like for example, the kids that we work with in our program, a lot of times they literally look at the church and the construct of what it is now and say, that doesn't fit me. I don't identify with that. And what's super funny,
Perfect.
And what's super funny is that the conversation that we're even having now is that there's a disassociation between what is effective and practical in the church sometimes. So our goal is to be able to try and go in and actually teach people why that's important. And of course, the word always says, as Jesus himself said, upon this rock, I will build
my church.
So that also means I may not be able to get you back into this building, but your job, in the same way we're having the conversation about secular music, you might not actually be assigned to be in the church. It might be our job to teach you how to actually go out and do exactly what you're called to do, be in the position you're supposed to be in, but tell you who you are in being the church and go into these streets and actually educate people about who they are.
Right.
So we might not have to actually get them back in. It's a matter of also saying the ones we can, fantastic, but showing them who they are in that process and why that's important.
That's dope. All of those are good points. Both of those are good points. Chuck, I see your wheels turning. If we don't get them back into the church, what happens to the church?
That's a thing, right? So like people always ask me, like, they talk about violence and all this, and anytime I talk to kids or like whatever, like the death of the black church is a problem. It just has been.
Yeah.
I don't know. The pandemic has made it worse because,
oh yeah,
of course, old black people are the most pandemic paranoid folks out there. So like my parents don't even go back to church, and I think they've been open since whatever. But if you're gonna have these church-based movements, you're gonna have to impact young folks too. And like if they're not there, if they're not present during y'all talking about voter registration or having these speakers or whatever, they're not present and the message doesn't get to them because again, it's 18 to 35-year-olds in the country and also black folks and then also white women. That's that's how you change. That is how you can turn this thing around, in my opinion. So
yeah.
Okay.
And you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. And this is our starting point.
And it's an amazing starting point.
And one of the goals is to work with faith leaders and young people. That's why what we've created is intergenerational. We have some folks that's not here, like Elder Harvey Henley.
Oh yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, and then in October we're doing Revolt at School.
Why was I just about to say, what about in the classroom?
Where we're creating. I don't know if y'all saw that video by Yellow Payne, where he did a rap about the 3 branches of government.
I don't want to talk about rappers right now.
Just okay.
Cara, yes, he got to tell you about
Just
that.
look it up.
It's viral for something.
It's absolutely incredible where he's teaching. So we're gonna have young people recreating the video.
Okay.
And we're gonna provide the videographers, have a contest, and it's very educational. So we have to meet them where they are.
Right.
We have to do things on their level. We're also creating a youth ambassadorship where, just like our team, we understood that a lot of orgs right now are trying to figure out, how do you get young people? Well, you don't have to have that conversation if you include them as part of your leadership.
For sure.
Part of the other issue is, I was saying this over there, like I didn't realize they stopped teaching civics in school. That's part of it too. So like there are a lot of schools apparently they don't have civics, so they don't even know about the branches of government. They don't know about the importance of voting. Like they just hear people talking at them as opposed to with them, sort of like what you're talking about.
In this moment, I do want to give a shout out to a couple of our viewers. One in particular, Lavert Andrews, who teaches at Ramsey High School and teaches a history course. He was the first instructor. School has only been in 2 weeks. Said student comes home and says, "Man, Mr. Andrews, I like his class. That was really interesting. Like he gave slavery from a different perspective. I like him." I was like, he's smiling. It's very connected in the community. So with him watching and listening, that's one. That's just one. And that's one that's already in a position to say, well, come to my classroom.
Right.
So who else is listening? Where you at? Who else is
But
tuned
also
in?
Jason Meadows is a part of our team, who's
Right.
president
School
of the
board.
school board. So
Right.
so we already in there.
So
Yeah.
in there, so you have the
Yeah.
overall
The
connect
team,
and then
like,
the direct connect.
we were strategizing this thing.
Okay.
Like, this is not just, oh, I'm finna call my friends. No, each person was prayed about and came, through the voice of God.
That's what's
So
up.
we're really thinking about the whole community. We're even including small businesses, because when we take ownership of the community where the church is located, there are some small mom and pop businesses in that community. So we're
sure.
doing brands. What is it? Brands for civic engagement. And so what we plan to do is billboards, uh, yard signs, bumper stickers, whatever it takes. Radio, we're on all the radio, because folks have to be constantly reminded. It's just like a McDonald's commercial. You have to play a commercial at least 7 or 8 times before a person makes a purchase. So the goal would be to constantly see it. Oh, and we're canvassing, we're phone banking, we're texting. So, but our job with the faith leader is just he can create his civic engagement ministry, and then we're providing them with the tools. We're providing them with training. Like, 1 week, the training may be relational organizing,
Okay.
where students, faith leaders, the members, community members will be able to make a list of 100, we call 3 C's: church members, cousins, and co-workers. Like, we always do voter registrations where we're trying to find strangers, and our own cousins, church
And
church members, and co-workers are not registered.
I like that.
Also, our target is infrequent voters. Let's go back. Now, we're a nonpartisan organization, ministry,
Yeah.
or team.
Organization. Group.
But let's call it collective, whatever you want to call us.
Them.
But
Us.
let's go back to 2018. I was on that statewide slate, right?
Okay.
337,000 Democrats or progressives that are registered to vote did not vote. Kay Ivey beat Walt Maddox by 327,000. So we're not as red as folks think.
I'm telling you.
Like, we're not. It's not so far fetched for us to gain power again. It's not out of. It's doable.
Okay. We got a lot to do, but somebody's got to do it, and
Yeah.
you all are starting to do it. And it's been being done, because I know that we've sat on panels together. There are other organizations. Shouts out to Woke Vote, Black Voters Matter,
Yeah.
SCLC, NAACP, everybody, right? Your church has been doing this stuff, but maybe it's time to get some new people, new faces, get them charged up to do it now.
But what happens is, what makes this so powerful is that when funders come to town, and I'm a part of national organizations, I'm a part of the movement for Black Lives. So I hear the conversations when they fly over your state,
Yeah.
and they look for where to fund to do this kind of work. The money never makes it to the ground. The ground workers, the community organizers, the activists, and the faith leaders.
Okay.
I want to change that, where the
right.
money come to the folks actually doing grunt work,
Yeah.
like day to day, year round, for free.
Yes.
It's okay to be compensated to be a blessing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. And look, that's the work that I appreciate. That's the work that I've seen you doing. I'm so glad that there is a group of people that I know that do the work on a daily basis. So this is amazing to hear. Before we get out of here for the second part of this hour, I do want you guys to tell people what they're going to be a part of, how to find you, and what to be looking forward to.
Okay. Nominate your pastor, your church, to participate in Revote Black Church Voter Project by going to www.blackchurchvoterproject.com. Click on fellowship application. The application only takes about 5 to 7 minutes. Faith leaders or you can do a short video just telling us about your community, how awesome it is, what it deserves. If you had all the money in the world, what would you do different? That's what we want to know, because our job is just to facilitate. We're not here to tell you what your community needs.
Okay.
And so we're looking for folks we're looking for faith leaders, activists, and community organizers to participate in our fellowship. It's a paid fellowship. You'll receive a welcome kit, which will include the book, The Black Church, This Is Our Story, This Is Our Song. We purchased remarkable tablets for all of the faith leaders. We'll be doing some community dinners together
That's what's
and
up.
some team building because we are serious about bridging that gap, reconciliation, because we love our faith leaders. We love the church. And one thing that I've learned from talking to activists who everybody think they're so hard,
Mm-hmm.
they're ready to come back.
Okay. It's got to be somebody reaching back. What's the website again?
www.blackchurchvoterproject.com. Also, we have some voter tools, a toolbox on there where you can register to vote, where you can check your voter status, and some other tools that's on there. I can't remember right now. But also, if you want to work the polls, you can go to our site, www.powerthepolls.com/revote, and get paid to work the polls.
That's what's up. Awesome. Blackchurchvoterproject.com. If you need to see it, look on the screen. Chuck.
If we can do anything for you in my day job, let me know, because for the longest time I used to make it a condition of people's probation. If you're not registered to vote, you got to get registered. You got to do it, like, and bring it to me. So,
Loop.
that's what we.
That's vital. That's vital.
And my day job.
And
Last
look,
comments from anybody?
look, I was gonna say that too, though. Somebody else said in my day job. I was like, that's a thing here. Everybody comes in as in my day job.
Yeah, in my day job.
Oh, you did.
I
Yeah.
told my day job. Yeah.
In my day job. We gotta get some shirts.
Yesterday was my birthday, and folks was like, I was just
Happy
the
birthday.
way I was
Happy
saying thank you. Thank you. The way I was saying thank you to everybody was thank you. Please, go to this website. And I started getting phone calls saying that it's okay to take a day off.
Oh,
People don't understand freedom. Like, I don't have a job. This is my life. This is what I'm passionate about, right? So when you love it, when it's something that you love, it's not a job.
so you found purpose that day
Found
when your son was like, look.
After he did that, I started praying I started doing a search for significance. And because I tried to understand, I was what I always dreamed of, being successful as an entrepreneur. And I wanted to know what was this that I'm traveling through.
Yeah.
So I started praying for a search for significance. And, all of a sudden I just started changing. I didn't understand not being well received. So I needed to understand that it's okay to be respected and not necessarily liked by everybody.
Okay.
So yeah.
I play a song for your birthday, but Juanita Bynum might not like it.
Juanita, if you listening, we'll twerk on this break right here.
Hollering.
Go on, stand up, Carl. One more time, tell them how to get to you, to the group. Who wants to share that information? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, we need to shout
Let
out our
me put the
teammates,
organ music on.
the other team that's
Let
not
me turn
here.
that organ music on.
I would just say for me, what's really resonating with me is that models matter. So models matter and mentorship matters as well. And so again, I really just want to reemphasize that, look, you may not ever march in the streets, but you can march with your dollars. You can march into some of these schools and really be the change, be the positive influence that our young people need to see, right? When we talk about everything that's happening citywide, nationwide, we have the ability to change that. Like, God has gifted us with talents, with treasure, with our time, so that we can begin to change a lot of those issues. And so just kudos to Cara. She's up early. She stays up late, as you can see, because until all of us are free, none of us are free. And so I really just wanted to just celebrate her. I celebrate you, Woo, and really all of the Black women. No knock to Black men, because we know that it takes everybody.
Right.
But Black women have always interceded. They've always been behind the scenes. They've never asked for the recognition or the title or the accolades, but they've just done the work because it was necessary. And so to all of the sisters who are out there doing the work because it's necessary. If no one told you thank you today, sis, we see you. You are valuable. You are necessary. We love you and we appreciate you.
That's what it is. D-Ree, everybody.
Yes. So we're gonna drop information about our next info session
All week.
online
Every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay, there it
12
is.
p.m. for lunch. We'll be doing an info session online on the Faith and Works
Facebook page, and
Facebook
then
page.
we have another session in the evening as people are heading home or getting
12
settled
noon
at
and
home.
7 p.m. Tuesday,
Yes.
Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yes.
12 and 7, 12 and 7. Those are prime times.
Yes, on Faith and Works Facebook page. So we just want to make sure that everyone just tunes in to get some more information. Of course, nominate your church. This is not just for church; it's also for community members and activists or community organizers. And all I have to say to follow up behind D is we have nothing to lose but our chains. So that's all I got. Wes, it's on you.
No, I was just gonna say, make sure y'all follow us on Instagram as well too, Faith and Works Collective. Hey, we're there, so when you're scrolling, you can just hit follow and get all the information you need. We're posting every day.
Let's be clear: Faith in Works or Faith and Works?
Faith and Works.
And.
All right.
Because faith without works
Is
is
dead.
dead.
So it take both.
Let me play this
Yeah.
organ one more time, just for the just because I like it. Let me let y'all hear it.
Church.
Amen.
What's she
That's
playing?
good church.
What's she playing?
The organ is
Okay.
That's good
Okay.
church. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
On that
My
note,
story.
the doors are open.
This is.
Will there be one?
Come on.
Will there be one?
The doors are open. We're going to our last break before the end of the show. So get ready to come back. We're going to wrap it up. I think this is the third Sunday, is it? Oh, it is. We'll be right back. It's Bite on B94.9 WATV.
Thank y'all.
That was good. Yeah.
So somebody gonna be in first class. It's gonna be my mama, not him.
But then, like for the homeboy to
Or
even
both.
feel like he should,
Or the homeboy,
like he
or
could even text her anything. Why are you talking to that lady?
or my guy gonna
That's
be
because
in.
that's her boyfriend.
My guy gonna
That's
be
his
in
boyfriend.
economy, and me and my wife gonna be in first class.
Right.
Like if you bought a first class
That's-
ticket,
yeah.
that's where it get a little weird.
So
They go
So somebody's
together.
watching
I mean, you know.
and just missed the first part of what I read because you just blocked. I mean, you saw us, or either you heard us, but you couldn't hear because of the mic. Basically, a husband and his homeboys take a boys trip, and they go for sporting events and things like that. I guess they stay a week or so, 4 or 5 days, whatever.
Yeah.
And he never takes his wife. This time he took her, but he bought first class tickets for he and his friend. His wife was in economy, and once wife realized that they were not sitting together and that he and his friend were in first class, of course she had something to say about it. And the husband, she decided, you know what, I don't even want to go. I'm not going. And she didn't go. She went and picked her kids back up. And 3 hours later, he appears too. They have a conversation about it, argument rather. And then his friend texts his wife and said, girl, this is why I told him it wasn't a good idea to bring you in the first place, because you be complaining and you entitled. What would you do? DMR.
I got a little questions, right? Like number one, I wonder how long they've been married, because like you should know how that's gonna go.
And
The husband should already. I mean, you know that ain't gonna fly.
Right. It should.
It should. Like
unless it flies.
Right.
Like,
and that goes to show, like, that would make me
Nah.
think, what you be saying about me around these dudes when I'm not around? The reason why he felt like he could text me and say that to
but
me.
you ruined his trip too, though. Like now he
can still go.
I'm sorry,
He got a
I
ticket.
ruined y'all romantic rendezvous.
You keep on with that.
They, like, tell me what else it could be then.
I don't know, but again,
Because what man is gonna book a first class flight for him and his homeboy and sit his wife
Why
in
is you
economy?
buying your homeboy ticket?
Right?
Yeah,
Like, what
too.
is that?
That, I mean, because that 100% invalidates his argument too, right? Because if he buys the homeboy the first class ticket and buys his wife, like that's a weird thing, right? Because you imagine, like, so say your man is either working or whatever, but like he then can't go back to her and say, well, you don't work, so you should just be happy that I bought you the
Yeah,
economy
'cause-
ticket. Like y'all ain't picking up on that part. That's weird.
And then the other part of the idea that most, when you start getting a little bit further back in the plane, you got 3 seats. It's a row. You buy 3 tickets.
That's right. I don't know. That's wild.
You buy 3 tickets, or either homeboy is nice enough and decent enough to say, hey man, like let's swap. I'll sit back, let me.
That's what I would have done. But like, I mean,
Dude,
I
what's wrong?
told y'all what.
I mean, I wonder how long they're gonna be married.
Right.
Or how long they've been married. They
That's
have
what I'm saying,
children.
yeah.
They have children that were dropped off at her mother's house. So that
That's
could
wild.
happen.
This
in a
really
week,
makes me
but
feel
still.
like Diver Mad Black Woman with Helen and stuff. Helen didn't work.
Who?
Helen on
What?
Diver Mad Black Woman. She
Oh,
didn't
I
work
didn't
and
watch
charged through her at the
That
house
Tyler
and
Perry?
took everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I don't watch that.
But it was one of his first movies. But this just like women have to work and have their own. So men cannot throw this back up in your face. Or you don't work, so you don't make the decisions.
Or
Like, how dare
Well, I
you?
don't
Oh,
think
that's not a
that,
gender
though.
thing.
Yeah,
That's just a who's making more money. Because I know a lot of women who have tried it and said the wrong thing to a dude because
Mhm.
they make it more than he is, and like that ain't gonna fly.
Well, it's just a respect thing,
Yeah,
though.
100%.
When my husband got sick, he's not able to work or make the same money that he did when we first started. But I don't invalidate him,
Right.
Right.
as a man first or as a person.
Because the male
Um,
ego is something, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
you touch that thing the wrong way, it's gonna be an issue.
Yeah, that's just weird, for starters. And even though she does not work, I had this conversation with a friend yesterday. Being a stay-at-home mom, that's a job.
That's a job.
Like that's
100%.
that's a real life job.
It's harder than an 8-hour clock
It
in.
is. It's hard being at home with my baby on Saturday and Sunday. So I couldn't imagine.
I mean, the way she was saying mommy yesterday back to bed.
Man, what?
What's also crazy is I wonder when he told her.
Wow.
Like, did he wait till they got to the airport? Like,
It
because
sounds like they were getting on the plane
see
and she
that
realized
is
like
he didn't think that one through.
wait a minute.
That is trash.
I've done a lot of reckless things, like, and not thought it through. But like, by the time you buy the ticket, book the trip, and all that, like something should register. Like, this ain't gonna fly.
No, I meant
wonder
to
if
do
they-
this.
if
Or I meant to
if-
do it right.
I wonder if she had a room with her husband or if they put her somewhere else.
Good.
See,
I
you
know.
still on that.
I mean, like
You have to ask these questions these
I mean, I
days.
guess.
they never even made it that far. So, but though I see people popping on now watching live, and just to bring you in on what we're talking about,
That's
DMR is dating, mating, and relating. And this particular post that I found, was where a wife said that she was invited to join her husband on a boys' trip. Basically, they take this trip every year. And this year he decided to bring her because he normally doesn't. He bought the plane ticket for his homeboy and for his wife. And once she realized that they were sitting together, they being the husband and the homeboy, they were sitting together in first class and she was in economy. Oh yeah, we're arguing about this. This is a problem. So after they argued, they decided not to go. We got that bad. I ain't going. And I ain't going either. So they didn't go.
And if that's his man for real, like I hear
That's
what
my
you're saying.
mans.
No, but I'm like, if that's my guy, like I also would imagine my guy. Like if I saw that situation, number one, like none of my friends are doing that. 'Cause that's just
Right,
like,
like,
okay,
what is
whatever.
wrong with you?
And listen, this ain't no racing. I know white folks that ain't even trying to pull that off. It's just nuts. Everybody,
Like, look now.
every woman gonna cut up over that. It just is
Like,
what it
yo,
is.
what are you doing?
But I would like if I saw that, like I would be like, yo, you just take my seat.
Yeah,
And
like
just-
simple.
it's
But
cool.
then I gotta ask my homeboy. I'm texting you before we get into airplane mode. Like, bro, what were you thinking? What was this?
Right.
Were y'all beefing when you got the ticket? Were you gonna surprise her with like a lavish, like you wanted to do a set her up and make her mad first and make her happy? Once
Now,
we-
see, I've done that before, but like we
That'll
ain't
get
on
you
no
slapped
plane.
I would
so
slap you
hard.
6 times.
Right. Like,
I have
slapped
done
you
some
like
wild
Helen D.
things.
Charles.
Yeah, we gonna tussle.
Cause
There you go with that tough
Well,
one.
you got my heart beating all fast. Okay, next video that I saw, you guys. We've been dating 5 years, and you say that you're proposing to me, and we're in McDonald's. And guy says he gets down on his knees, like, everyone, may I have your attention? May I have your attention, please? Gets on his knees, like, babe, this is over in England. Babe, we've been dating for 5 years. And she's like, yes,
That's
yes,
your
yes.
British accent.
I mean, almost.
Because it definitely sound like an African hair.
Oh,
what
It
about
do,
you?
but it's okay. Don't do her like that. Go ahead,
Sorry.
Bird.
So,
Don't do her.
Oh God.
so
So as they proceed.
my bad. Okay, I don't know which one to do. I'm gonna play these congas though. Play these drums in the background. Dude gets on his knee to propose to her, and in front of the people, and it's in McDonald's. So as soon as you drop your knee, I'm automatically assuming that you're about to propose. Would you say yes to being proposed to or proposed to in McDonald's?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I feel like that's like the Family Dollar thing we were talking
Okay, what were we talking about?
about. Like
me.
the person that tried to like
It
work
was
at-
Dollar General.
Oh,
Dollar General,
Okay,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
okay.
Last week.
But it's sort of like it depends on your socioeconomic thing,
It
right?
doesn't matter.
I say if it's a story
a-
behind it,
right.
you could
Yeah.
have done this at home. So let me tell y'all, the first time that I was married, the engagement went something like one day we were in the den, and well, we had already decided it was a conversation, and I was like, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm like, that was lame. Hey, propose to me right. Like, let's try this again. Okay. Young, didn't really think it through, whatever. It was just basic. Okay. Next time, said fiance asked me what I would like or what would make sense to me as an engagement. I was like, well, good food, good drinks, my people. I need my people there. Why in the same weekend you do the total opposite? And I walk out to you on your knee like, oh, you okay? You hurt yourself? You failed?
You need some liniment.
Because we clearly just
talked about
discussed
this.
it. It was the same weekend on the way to where we were. He asked the question, and I had already said I would prefer this.
I remember
Get the book.
that.
Just get the book.
That's
You said,
so
hey,
funny.
but you said yes though, right?
A
Get the
little
book.
bit.
I mean, you can't. That's like being a little pregnant. You either
Here
pregnant
we
or not.
are.
I don't know.
I mean-
You either said yes or you didn't.
Here we
I
are.
mean, get the
I
book.
mean, yeah.
But I'm saying, like, engagement, proposal, like,
But
it's such a
no.
serious thing, right?
In that video, he asked her twice.
It's not really a serious thing though, y'all. I think we put too much like into it. If the ultimate goal is to be married for longevity, why does it matter how you were proposed to? I am a firm believer that we live in a social media driven world,
Okay.
and we like to grandstand for the people.
You got those headphones from Disney. What?
Hold up, wait a minute. Hold on, y'all.
I've never seen
Sure,
these before.
I'm so
They can't
sick
see
of
your
you.
headphones. They have some cat ears. So
I like them. I got them from Five Below.
Oh,
Oh, those are cat ears. I thought they were
$100
like
for Five
Minnie
Below.
Mouse with glitter or something.
Chuck is on one.
He didn't told me I was blingy and some other
I
stuff.
said you
today.
tried
These are
it.
nice
Leave me alone,
compliments.
bro.
These are nice
And
compliments.
to be blingy, she doesn't care about what. So if James would have proposed to you at the restaurant that you said you hated twice, would you still been okay with that?
Well, I didn't get a proposal. Me and James more so had a conversation, and
It's-
then we went to the courthouse.
Right, I was there, baby.
Some of
So-
it, it's like you said, if there's a story, like that might be the first place they met, or first
Why
thing
it
he
gotta
ever.
be a story though? Like, I want to marry you. It's me and out here who like
Oh, yeah.
don't
even-
want nothing to do, like don't want to take you nowhere in public.
And that is so crazy that
What?
the 3 women that are in here that have been married, I will say, when I was married,
You were married too?
Did you?
it was a
Man,
it was a
everybody in the city been
conversation.
married.
Not me, except for me.
all the ladies. Like,
I was like,
so
it was
look,
it was a
I'm
conversation. I was not
Getting
proposed
to
to.
know you. Getting to
Um,
know all about you. What?
I didn't even change my name, so it didn't count.
Right. I'm keeping my last name. That's
Like
me.
it, yeah. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter to me. But I would like some kind of nice story to tell somebody. Well, you know,
It's
we were in
about
the
the- it's about the
park, or we were on
story.
Golden Gate Bridge or whatever, and I turned around and he was on his knee.
Like, oh my god.
And
But
then
I
I'm,
get.
I'm not gonna look at it like because why are you get up?
What if you do it
Get
Tuesday?
up.
Tuesday, it Tasty Tuesday, because I'm feeling it. And I mean, I've been walking around trying to keep this secret for 2 months.
At
and-
Platinum,
yeah, just whatever.
Yeah, that's a
right?
dope story too. Like, give me something.
you gonna
Not,
smell like dope when you leave.
Because I be
And
washing
black
my
and
hair for
males.
like 2 days.
So what about like, okay, so you know, Sunday nights I know you do Vital. I'm gonna pull up and do it at the station in front of everybody. On
in the
air.
rain. It's gonna be,
Oh,
that'll
man.
be nice.
I saw you.
So-
Something to put on Facebook. But if we had no social media, would we really care?
Yes. Yeah, because before social media,
It's about the
I
story.
wanted something special.
Are y'all open to getting married again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You asked
Well-
Chuck, you
What? I'm asking.
we'll talk later.
Oh, this isn't a proposal.
Oh.
I
well,
said, which one you
geez.
on? Like, what's up?
Wait, you're married, right? You're
Minus
She's
her.
currently married.
You're currently. So I'm talking to the two of y'all. Like there are people.
So who are you
I
asking?
might be open
Yes.
to the
It
idea.
depends on
Don't
who you're
count me
talking
out,
to.
Chuck.
Who you
Hold on.
talking
If
to?
I say get married again, there's some steps you gotta take first before
No,
you
we
get
just
married
trying to see
again.
like which one of us we trying to marry. Like, do you know what this is?
All right.
I mean, because I know people both ways. I know people, that are like, nah, I'm never getting married again, especially if I already had kids.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's more men though. I think a lot of my guy friends are more like, nah, I'm never. Especially if
absolutely
it,
right.
depending on how it worked out. And a lot of women that I know are like, they are like, yeah, but it's a slow answer. They're like, yeah, I'm open to it.
That is
Yeah.
very much research based.
That's
That is
definitely a gender.
evidence-based.
That's definitely a gender thing.
And you are spot on with that. So like, it's not about how you propose to me. It's not about how the wedding goes or any of that. Marriage, understanding what marriage is supposed to be. Like I've explained it. I know 3 times this weekend. Marriage is supposed to be a ministry. And that's so ironic that we end up kind of going back to what we've been discussing. What is the purpose of us being together? Like, what? Well, I mean, I got pregnant, so like, no, that's not.
No, that's
reason
not a
enough.
reason to get married.
Why are we deciding to put ourselves together to spend our lives together as one?
Yeah.
For the supposed to be for the rest of it.
Right.
Why we
Combining
doing
our
that?
finances, combining our families,
Like, you gotta do it
combining
every
like
day?
our credit, and just that's
But
a
we kind of do
serious.
that anyway, though. Like in our community, like marriage isn't a big thing, right? We just be together for 25 years.
I ain't with
probably
that.
prefer
And then,
that,
yeah, no, see, and so when me and James got married, it was under like, not ideal circumstances, right?
Right.
So for me, you can't leave me here, baby mama.
Okay.
You're not. And that's just
You had
kind
a
of
kid
what it
before y'all got
is.
married?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
So that was the thing. And then Chuck, I don't think you know this, but my husband, he's sick. He has cancer.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, yo.
He's fine.
Real talk.
He's fine.
Okay.
He's living and thriving.
Yeah,
Okay.
he is very much so. But
Is it
because of
remission
that,
or whatever? or
no, it's still full
Still
blown.
there?
He has stage 4 stomach cancer, and we are undergoing other
Aggressive chemo and all
Mhm.
that. Man, I'm sorry. I hope I ain't no. Look, I don't
You're
tell
learning
people.
a lot tonight. You should bring a notebook.
Oh, I got it in
You
my
should
brain.
have
I'm
another
good.
lock in.
Nah, I'm not one of those thoughts and
No.
prayers people
You
because
can
I ain't gonna
race
lie to you about
barefoot.
praying for you, but like
Thank
I'll
you.
keep y'all in the
Right.
like. I hope
Yeah.
everything works out, man.
will.
Like,
Right.
real talk.
but that
I'll be
was
nicer to you for the next.
what?
5 minutes. Hey, just today though.
Okay, so wet elbow. But that was kind of I think that at some point we probably would have still got married.
Mhm.
But when he was diagnosed, it was kind of like, hey, let's go ahead and do this, right?
Okay.
So for me, that was a part of the reason. I just didn't want to be, and he didn't want to leave me like a baby. If that were to happen, he didn't want to leave me a baby mama. I don't want to be a
Sure.
baby mama. And then have to make all of those tough decisions as a girlfriend, right?
That's fair.
Right. I don't want to have to fight your family, and not be married to you.
Because
for
she like the
anything.
tussle.
Right.
She does like the tussle.
She's a
man.
tussle.
Now I
It's a
got to tussle with you because you're questioning my authority. So marriage, the importance of it, and then like how it's done, how it starts, the decisions that you make within the marriage. You buy me an economy ticket. You propose to me at McDonald's. I don't know that I want to be in it.
I can deal with McDonald's. The ticket, nah.
Absolutely
yeah.
not.
The
No.
ticket, that's wild. That's none of my friends. I cannot imagine one of my
But look,
friends
I was
doing
gonna say,
that.
can
That's
you think
nuts.
of the one friend that might do it? As I search
Mm-mm.
into my friend group, I'm thinking about now who might do something similar to that.
Propose to
Mm-mm.
somebody in McDonald's or buy an economy
ticket.
Buying a
ticket.
economy ticket.
None of my married friends. Not
Yeah, I don't have no unmarried friends that's not doing that because you're tussling with your wife or your girlfriend.
right. That's fair. I don't know. None of my guy friends. I've gone
I'm
through a
thinking
bunch
about
of
my
them.
homegirls that would do that. Like, baby, he can fly, he can sit back there, we good. We don't want to come on the trip anyway. Like, I don't even know why you want to come on the girls' trip, but since you want to come,
All along.
Hey, you know what's
Just
crazy?
like,
You know
why
what's
you
crazy?
want to be here?
You know, it's crazy. That probably goes better the other way.
Men are more
Yeah.
compromising.
We're more like,
Yeah.
all right, you let me come. All right, so you and your girl,
like I let you come.
right? You and your girls want to sit in first class because again, that's the way I grew up. So like, I wouldn't have no issue with that. Like as long as we on the same plane, though, right? Like, hey, you ain't
Baby,
flying
I
direct, and I
get-
got a
Like
six
Chuck, I'm
hour
flying,
layover.
I'm flying out of Birmingham, and you're gonna have to fly that long.
right?
And
Nah,
we'll
we ain't
meet
doing
up.
that. But that probably goes better the other way. Real talk.
I look, man, this is real good. Like women get away with things
Yeah.
that men don't, but then we say that like we have it hard, but it's because men sneak. Like we are open with it. Baby, I got you an economy ticket because we always do this.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be like,
It's our trip. You just tagging along.
Right,
That's
we would
fine.
say
I wouldn't
that.
care. I
Yeah.
wouldn't really care nothing about it.
and
to be
then if
honest
my
with
homegirl jumps in and tries to text you because you get upset about it,
And
then
now
now I
you're
gotta
not my
talk to you.
homegirl no more.
Right.
you.
Right.
Right.
That
right.
would
Come on,
never
man.
Well, that's the
happen.
thing about old boy. Like you can't
That's
be my
what I
you're not my man
said.
no more. Like because you done caused me even more stress.
Like, bro, why did you do that?
Yeah.
But what if he asked him, man, can I say something? Because that just really rubbed me the wrong
Nah.
way.
They're
bruh.
like, no,
Nah,
bro, why
no,
you mad
sir,
at my
sir.
wife?
Sir,
Don't
no.
you?
Because I told you why. I bought this new little bit of luggage so I can have a carry-on for this trip. I got these toe-out shoes because we're going to the beach.
So out.
And now I can't even go.
Yeah. Nah.
Ugh.
Y'all
He
gotta
just
look
must
at-
not know his wife because I just let me think. I might take a poll. I'm gonna take a poll.
It goes like a pole.
I be taking polls in my day job.
We got to, because
I'll
I mean, I
report
need
back.
to know. Yeah, please bring that research back,
Yeah.
ladies. I want like we have a collective of friends. My friends are my friends' friends for the most part. They all can communicate, and I want you all to be thinking before we get off air. Which person are we all connected to that you can actually see doing something like that?
You mean the two guys?
Well, as far I'm talking like to them particularly about the girls that are collectively around us, who would do that?
Yeah, but
There
again, I don't
aren't any.
think
Do
I
you
don't
see
think I don't
any?
think there's an issue. I think it's I'm sorry. I think it's less of an issue if it's two women in the first class and the guys in economy.
I wouldn't do bad, babe. Okay, you know what? We gonna.
I think
If-
so, but I
if-
might just have a different opinion.
I would
Maybe.
probably ask, like, okay, say we on a flight and your dude is in economy. I probably might ask, like, Dana, why you do that?
you would definitely ask that. And I'm
I
like,
mean, weak. Like, why you do him like this? You mad at him, like, or what? I would
No,
not
he
give up my
chilling. He
seat.
doing
'Cause
his
what I look
crossword
like,
puzzles.
Right. Playing Candy
No.
Crush.
Yeah,
That's what I be
right.
doing. I'm a crusher.
Like what? He got a drink ticket. I shared my drink ticket with him. Like he got a
He
movie.
straight.
He watched a
Alright,
movie.
bet.
Good.
So anyway, girl, like I was telling you about the screenshot, this girl.
But guys can't do that. Y'all, do you hear how crazy this is? Like the double
wild.
standard that's set because of gender roles and expectations. Like, I'm trying to think of another one before we get out of here. That's one thing. You know, you got to put your wife first. Okay. Can your partner have a platonic friend of the opposite sex? That's always a topic, and it's always
Sure.
a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was real easy, and that sure was too. So you can until what? Until you find out they used to
Until
smash?
y'all not platonic friends. No,
Until-
that's not. Because one of my best friends, I dated, and we're big. Like we talk every day, like every day, and we don't have it's just a friendship. We don't. We have nothing.
And
going
that
on.
and that's very possible.
I'm always like, if you with me, I won. So like, what I care for?
Yeah. Unless
Okay.
unless or until you find out otherwise about their relationship. Like, okay, this you didn't tell me that part. That you
Well, that's
all-
something that you should be honest about, though.
Honesty.
Right? Yeah. You should, I just kind of feel like that should be something that's discussed within the phase of dating, right? Especially if you know that, like, we finna be in a serious relationship. Well, hey, This is my best friend. We used to date. It's nothing like that anymore.
I mean, y'all
But
probably ain't going on no trips together for like.
no, I don't see me
And
and
I'm
my
sitting
homeboy
in
going
the
on no.
first class, and
That's,
I'm in the
that's now we.
economy.
But we do talk on the phone every
fine.
day.
Yeah, like I mean, some friendships are.
And your husband knows them, right?
Mhm.
So they have an
Like
independent
now we're friends
relationship.
too.
I mean,
Not
not
independent,
necessarily,
but like
you
if
know.
they see each other, they gonna
Yeah.
rap,
Mhm.
right?
Cool. So there are situations where you can be okay with people that are not in your immediate like they're not in your relationship. Your relationship is not hindered or hurt by having these friendships or these relationships. Nobody's thinking, well, why are they conversing that way?
Is your man does he have somebody? Is he married too? Your best friend, the guy.
No. Mm-mm.
He's seeing somebody?
No, not seriously.
Okay.
So does that change the dynamics?
Can for some people.
Okay.
That's why I asked.
Okay.
And it could for some people,
Yeah.
but I don't view him in that way, nor do I think that he views me in that way at
Anymore.
all. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Well, the last person that I was with, their best friend was a female. I've known about this girl from the very beginning. I've met her. She's very respectful. Actually, at the end, like we ended up talking more than he and her talked on a regular type
You stole
basis.
that
So
man friend, Ken.
I kind of did.
Okay.
But
y'all believe in the divorce and the friends too? Like I took
I
that man.
divorced cousins and
right,
brothers
I
and
cousin,
sisters
auntie.
I don't be
and.
choosing sides. So I'm cool with you. I'm cool.
Well,
with
no,
you.
I'm not gonna choose sides. I'm just gonna you.
Right.
So like, if
So
needed,
it's able to be
if
done.
needed, for sure.
But you have to also be aware of those people who faking it.
Right.
Like that bro and sis and y'all be kissing when I'm gone. Like, no.
What?
Yeah.
No, that's not
Yeah.
right.
I'm gonna run to the store and get these eggs till we can finish cooking all together in the kitchen, and then while
Nah,
I'm
baby,
gone,
'cause you
Y'all
come
be
with
in there
me
hunt- right, then y'all be in there hunching when I get back.
Y'all know that story that happened in Mountain Brook like some years ago?
what?
Oh my god, I tell you. So it was a thing
Look
where
at his watch.
Right.
no, because I gotta
See how
make it
much
quick.
time you got.
I gotta make it quick. So like there was a couple in Mountain Brook, like it's years ago, right? And so the man is there with his wife, and this woman is there with her husband. They leave, go like they've been drinking or whatever. So the husband is like, "Yo, I gotta run to the store, go get some like more wine or something." I guess they were going to Western back then or whatever.
Yeah.
Old girl said, "Oh, I'm gonna go. I'll just ride with you." And with everybody didn't think anything of it. They, I guess, had some liquor in the car and then got caught by the police engaging in conduct that you shouldn't be doing in a car. And then they got back to the folks. Yeah. So like it was a whole thing.
But this made it like public.
Yeah, it got out. Yes,
He said, yeah.
it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Man.
So all of this from you leaving with the
Somebody else's husband.
So they were cool. They were like, I'm doing a rabbit
friend
ear.
group.
A couple group.
They were friends, right? And so like, but nobody thought that there was something going on between this guy and this woman. And so because they were just friends, and then they got caught being
more than friends,
super friendly.
Okay.
In the car.
We had to get away from the group to do it though.
Court cases.
Okay. So look, I
So
have
it got public.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's how my friend groups are. I have a group of friends who like you can call my guy friends tomorrow, right? Or y'all can have conversations because we're all friends.
Mm-hmm.
Now they all come to the house and we do a game like we'll be doing soon.
We're gonna play Uno?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only card game I know how to play. So we'll be
right.
That's another show topic.
Don't let her because she ain't the only one.
No,
and
you can't play Tonk.
No, and growing up, I did not have an attention span for no card game. I got to be.
That was about
doing
money.
something
You ain't
else.
never Tonk for quarters?
No, I don't know. But listen, in that group, one time we had a get together. I'm not gonna call any names, but we had one of these nights at the house, and these two people that had been involved in the friend group
got involved.
They got in an argument before everybody got there.
Ooh.
And it changed the energy of the household when everybody got there.
I got a story about that too.
That was. I wasn't at that
Were
party.
you there? You were there.
Was I it? Did I do it?
Was it you?
Was I the fighter?
I don't know.
Was it you?
Was it me?
So if you want to know if it was black, stay tuned. We're about to sign off, and I'm going to tell the story before we log out from our social media platform. I hope you all have enjoyed the show tonight. I know I have. I know that Faith and Works is doing big work. BlackChurchVoterProject.com. Go check them out if you are faith leaders, if you're activists, if you're inspired to make and see change in the community. You have been called to work.
Take somebody to the polls with you too.
Yes, and it's some incentives involved. We'll talk to you guys next Sunday, 7 p.m. right here on B94.9 WATV. Be vital.
need to know.
All right.
What's that mean?
So,
Oh,
said
hold on. Let me tell you something that just happened.
No, that
So,
wasn't me.
Y'all know about the remember last week the person that